Well, this week's show, what can you say? Maybe I ought to do what Syracuse has done the past week. Start slow and end with a flourish. 'Cause that's the way it seems to be around Syracuse and around the Sochi nowadays. First, let me start slow. I want to talk about the Wells report that came out there last week, which all suspected what we all suspected. That Richie Incognito is a jackass, no matter how you look at it. 'Cause you know, anybody who does that type of behavior, especially in an NFL area, I mean, what can you say about him? That's his whole thing. That included both him, Mike Pouncey, and that other person. What they did to Jonathan Martin was just despicable. A few years ago, when Incognito was a member of the Bills briefly, I thought he was just what the Bills might need. I mean, he was a mean cuss, a la what Conrad Dobler was like when he played for both the Cardinals and for the Bills at the end of his career. But now we see what Incognito's true colors is. And because he's about to become a free agent, it's probable that Incognito's going to have a very hard time landing somewhere. I certainly wouldn't want him to come back to the Bills. Buffalo doesn't need that, especially when Buffalo seems to maybe be on the upswing. Especially when Buffalo's got to look forward to who they're going to pick in the draft. And all certain people say that Sammy Watkins is who Buffalo is looking after. We don't need somebody like Incognito on the team for doing what he did to Jonathan Martin. Hell, thing is, Martin, he probably is not going to be a Miami Dolphin anymore. But you know what? Maybe Buffalo could offer Martin a contract. We'll see. But you know, Richie, I think you better go incognito when you go around town. And while I'm still on the subject of football, how about the whole thing with Michael Sam there? He's the University of Missouri linebacker who's expected to be a second or third round pick, who came out that he's openly gay. And he may be the first openly gay player in the NFL. Well, I mean, the thing is, it is a very touchy subject. There's no doubt about that. And I mean, for years, I've struggled with the subject about LGBT people. Because, I mean, I admit, I'm a little old school. But in truth, the subject of the LGBT movement is always very touchy. And, you know, it's part of almost everyday conversation. Because, you know, it's here to stay. And the thing is, we should accept them for what they are. And, I mean, sometimes it can be hard to be, but you know, a lot of them are very nice people. And a lot of them are just ordinary people like you and me. You know, the NFL may or may not be ready for somebody like Sam, but we have to learn to accept it. He is gay, and they have to learn to accept it and learn to accept him for the person that he is. If he's a good football player, you know, more power to him. Hell, if Buffalo drafts him, welcome to the brotherhood, dude. You know, let's hope you have a good career in the NFL, Mr. Sam. If you come to Buffalo, let's see how good you are. Now I go from that to something pretty good. How about there in Sochi with that game between the U.S. and Russia in the men's hockey tournament? Hell, memories of what happened 34 years ago have come back for a lot of people with the way that game ended. Boy, tied 2-2, although that was a controversial goal that was disallowed. But if you look closely, you'll see the goal came off its moorings, and you see the Russian player had a high stick. And TJ Oshie, who's now seemed to become this generation's Mike Eruzione, with the way he handled the shootout there. He seems to be the sniper for this U.S. team, and he's the one that gave the U.S. the victory. But you know, it's kind of hard to compare this victory over Russia with what happened 34 years ago with the big red machine that the Soviet Union was, and especially some of the circumstances. Because in truth, Vladislav Tretiak, who is considered the greatest goalie ever to play the game, was pulled after the first period. Who knows what could have happened had Tretiak stayed in goal. But you know, you can't compare this one with that game, especially when me, as an 8.5-year-old kid, looked over at the person, my father, who almost never shed a tear, seeing him weeping after the U.S. won that and after Al Michaels said those big words. And I say, do I believe in miracles? Yes. And how about 2 days later when they beat Finland for the gold medal, seeing Jim Craig skate around with the flag draped over him looking for his father? Those to me were two indelible moments from 34 years ago. But you know what would be a great indelible moment? Us winning the gold in hockey, in both the men and the women. Because who knows, the U.S. women take on their old friends, and I mean friends in an operative word, the Canadians. Because you know, those ladies from U.S. and Canada do not like each other. It could be us in Canada, or it could be us in Russia playing for the men's gold medal. We'll see. If it's us in Russia, let's welcome back the big Russian bear and send him off to drink some more vodka, shall we? And also, I'd like to say with something great, what is Syracuse doing? Are they trying to give their fans coronaries? It's almost like the end of the football season again. The cardiac Cuse striking twice. First, Tyler Ennis showing what a great freshman he's been, launching up that 35-foot shot to beat Pittsburgh down in Pittsburgh, a place where typically we've had trouble beating the Panthers. Of course, Jamie Martin probably had that poop-eating grin like he did when he got called for a technical up when they played up here against the Cuse in the Dome. But you know, we'll take a win whatever we can get it. And how about us against North Carolina State? I mean, C.J. Fair gets it, and I mean, he doesn't quite lay it in, but the North Carolina State player touched it on the way downward, so they were called for goaltending. And we had to fend off that last shot to beat the Wolfpack. Truth is, we should have beaten the Wolfpack by about 10-12 points. But this is the Cuse, the cardiac Cuse. Let's hope against Boston College we don't have that type of finish. We should beat Boston College. But then we got two big games looming on the horizon before I talk next. One down in the confines of the crazies of Cameron Indoor Stadium, the return match against Duke. And then Monday, playing a pretty tough and scrappy Maryland team in their home arena. We're heading down the stretch toward the ACC tournament and toward the NCAA tournament. This is the time when Syracuse should be peaking. We're still undefeated, and if we're peaking heading towards the tournament, let's get to the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament undefeated, shall we? No more cardiac Cuse finishes. Or, I should say, probably it's gonna happen, knowing the way we played against Duke several weeks ago. But keep it going, Cuse. We're still undefeated. And last but not least, I want to wish good luck to the Mynderse boys and girls basketball teams as they begin sectional play. I mean, tonight, the Mynderse girls definitely have their work cut out for them. Brittany Anderson's graduation really hurt them, but they put up a pretty good fight nonetheless. But they go down to Steuben County to play Addison, and that's a long trip. I will say good luck, but I will say good luck to the boys tonight when Sodas comes to the Arthur Baker Gymnasium. And I will tell you something about that Wayne County village. You're driving along 104, you get thirsty. Might be nice to pop down in that village for a couple sodas. Oh, brother. But I will say, Liam Carahare and Jared Coffey's moms were two of the greatest people in the world will be there. Of course, Wendy, with her diminutive size and red hair and her vibrant personality, will be cheering Liam. And Paula Coffey, who has been a great member of the Seneca Falls School District, is going to be there cheering for Jared. Probably rocking the sweats again. We'll see, shall we? That's all I have to say for this week. I'm Ken Haas, and let's hope we can beat Boston College, Duke, and Maryland, shall we?